Morning all. Just a quick follow-up video to my video from the other day about thinking of getting a puppy. Today's Thursday, 8th of Feb. It's grey, it's cold, and it's been raining quite heavily, but it seems to have eased off for now. This is not an exhaustive list of things. Let's do this on the fact that you've decided to get your puppy now, and you're due to pick it up imminently, within days. This is not an exhaustive list, but this is the list of things I've always done when I'm getting a puppy, and to be honest, it's never failed. Somebody may tell you differently. That's up to you. It's your puppy. Do what works for you, but this is what I would do. So I'm going to fire through these. Number one, whether you're picking your puppy up in a day or a week or 2 weeks, sit down as a couple, the adults of the house, the people that are buying this puppy, and write down everything you don't want that dog to do when it first comes, or at all, when it's fully grown at 2 years old. If that is jumping up, if that is getting up on the furniture, if that is allowing it upstairs, if that is jumping up and stealing food off the side, any of those things, write them down. And the day your puppy comes into your house, do not let them get away with it. Because you've got to set your stall out, but if you let them get away with it, especially the bigger dogs, and I have many cases like this where they've allowed the dog to jump up as a puppy, but now their Rottweiler's 50, 60 kilos, they don't want it. Well, now you've got to work 2-3 times as hard. Trust me. Let me just get him back. You've got to get it in from the start. Good boy. You've got to get it in from the start, set your stall out, make it the norm for the dog. Next thing would be, I think, crate training. Get yourself a crate. You don't have to use a crate for life. I would use a crate probably for the first 12 months of the dog, and then once you get to a certain level, you can get it a nice bed. But a crate will do a number of things. It's a safe space for your dog to go, to take himself away, to switch off, but also it stops your house getting demolished when you're out when they're teething, like skirting boards, doors, cupboards, those sort of things, ripping the bin up, everything. Make it a good place for your dog. And as I said in my previous video, when the dog comes home, if you've got a crate, stick that t-shirt or that blanket that come with it from its litter, stick that in there, and another t-shirt of yours, and maybe a little cuddly toy it can curl up with, and just make it a safe space. Number 3, toilet training. Probably one of the biggest things I see. Someday somebody will explain to me what the idea of a puppy pad is, because I'm absolutely no idea. You want your dog to toilet in your garden, but to teach it to do that, you're putting a pad down in your house for it to toilet on. There's no logic in that. So if you're getting a puppy, and this is the reason I no longer get puppies, I'm just not home enough. So you have to bear this in mind. If I was getting a puppy, I would need to take at least 2 to 3 weeks off work altogether and be home. If I did that, what I would do is, in the daytime, every 2 hours, I would take the puppy out in the garden, and I'd stay out there with it. And as soon as it toilets, give it loads of praise. If you want to use a treat, give it a treat, but still praise it as well. Every 2 hours. If your puppy goes into the garden to toilet, if it wheezes especially, just stay out there another 30 seconds to a minute, because puppies don't know how to empty their bladder, and the chance I might go again. If it hasn't gone within that minute, bring it in. But night time, people seem to think that a puppy can go to bed at 10 and get up at 6 and hasn't wet itself. People, if you've decided to get a puppy, you've now got some sleep break in your sleep pattern. So how I do it, week 1, I would go to bed religiously at 10 o'clock, which I probably do most nights anyway, and I will set my alarm for 1 AM, 4 AM and 7 AM. At 1 AM my alarm goes off, I go downstairs and I will wake my puppy up, and I will take it out the garden to toilet. As soon as it's toilet, bit of toilet, praise, back in the crate, shut the crate, go straight back to bed. Same again at 4, and then at 7 o'clock obviously goes out to toilet, and it will come in, have a little bit of playtime, maybe breakfast, that sort of stuff. Week 2, I would go about 10, and I would set my alarm for 2 AM and 6 AM. Do exactly the same. After week 2, I'm 90 to 95% certain you could probably go to bed at 10 and get up at 6, and it'd be okay, or thereabouts. It might take one more week, but your days of going to bed at 10 o'clock at night or whatever and getting up at 8, 9 in the morning are done. The moment you've agreed this puppy, that's gone. The only other thing I would say is number 4, which I personally, I hammer this into a lot of people. People don't really think about this. I'm not saying it's unique, but most people who don't think about this, when you first get your pup, one of the first things you're going to be going is, we got to get it trained, got to do this, got to do that. Build a bond with your puppy, spend time with it, play games with it, make everything fun. Don't be too strict, you know. Just when you're playing, like if you get a tennis ball, you're in the living room, you're chucking the ball and the dog comes back, give it a fuss, stroke it, let it hold the ball for a bit, then take the ball off it. Play little and often, hide bits of food around the house. But also, what you must do is teach your dog how to switch off and chill out. Because if you just go hype it up, hype it up, hype it up, when it's 6 to 9 months, you'll go, why is my dog doing zoomies? Why is it not? Teach your dog, and this is where the crate comes in. You can play some games, you can go out for a bit of training in your garden, you can do all this sort of stuff. But then when you come back, get your dog, put it into the crate, shut the crate, and just let it be. Teach it, it can just go in there and it can switch off. Don't let people approach the crate if the dog's in there. Leave it in there, let it switch off for an hour or 2. Don't forget, a puppy needs up to 20 hours of sleep a day. People forget this. They think we got to play with this puppy all day to tire out. No, you don't. 20 hours of sleep roughly in a day, in a 24-hour window. That leaves you 4 hours to feed it, get out in the garden, all this sort of stuff. But take your time, do not rush it. Billy, come up. Do not rush it. Take your time. Your puppy is a 10 to 15 year investment. Take the first year and spend that time to train and train and train. From about 4 to 5 months onwards, you've got 7-month window. Up to that point, play loads of fun games, do a bit of training around sit, all this sort of stuff, but teach it to switch off. And then last but not least, the easiest thing to train your dog to start with is a sit command. Feeding time to start with. Tell your dog to sit, your puppy to sit. Just help it down by putting your hand under its chin, lift its chin and push its bum down. As soon as its bum hits the floor, put the bowl down. As it gets better and it sits on its own, you can make it wait longer. Sit is a very simple and probably the easiest one to train. This is just a, like I say, this is not a specific list, this is what I do. I will then make another video going forward about the training you should be doing up to its 12 weeks. And then how you take that to the outside world. But it's a case of make sure you know what you're doing if you're getting a puppy. Don't think it's going to be no different to your day. Your life is about to change massively, more so than having a baby. Babies are easier than puppies. I don't care what anyone says. It is definitely a challenge. So please make sure you understand what you're getting into. Give it the best shot, and if at any point of when you've got your puppy you are struggling or you have questions, Google will give you thousands of answers. If you want to message me to ask advice, you'll get free advice. You don't have to have a lesson with me. I give loads of people advice on a weekly basis on messages over the phone for no fee. Because all I want is people to be successful. I don't want dogs going into kennels. I don't want dogs going into rescues. That's not what a dog should be doing. So if anyone who watches this has any questions or is thinking of a puppy, you can message me completely free of charge. I will send you as much advice as you can. I have people that do that now. I have a guy in Northern Ireland at the moment who's messaging me for advice. Somebody in Scotland, people up north, people down south. This is all about me as a dog lover wanting people to be successful with their puppy. You don't need to have a lesson with me. If you're local and you want a lesson because you prefer hands-on, that's fine. I do a puppy visit. But if you just want some advice on a couple of points, drop me a message, free of charge, I'll answer you. On that note, for those who are thinking of getting a puppy, days like today are going to become the norm. I wrapped up like you wouldn't believe. Coats, hats, snoods, gloves, the lot. This is the normal weather, and especially when you got a spaniel, he loves this. Anyway, if you're getting a puppy, think about it, think hard, take note of some of the points. There may be other things, but enjoy, and I'll make one about some training in the next few days. Take care.